Namaskar दोस्तों, welcome to channel Toxicology on board. Today in this video we'll be discussing another DABT question. Topic will be related to seafood toxin and towards the end of the video one slide I will be discussing about scromboid fish poisoning also. Let's directly dive into the question. This question is taken from ABT recertification question paper, that is year 2009. So the question is, which of the following is not a toxin found in seafood? That's why our video topic is seafood toxin. So we have the right answer will be in the green text, that is cyclopyzonic acid. So along with that, we'll also read in this in this particular session, we'll read about ciguatoxin, saxitoxin, domoic acid, tetrodotoxin. In our channel, already with respect to in detail, one video of ciguatoxin is already uploaded. With respect to tetrodotoxin is also already. I will give the description. I will give the link in the description. So in this particularly try to discuss about saxitoxin as well as a little bit we will try to cover domoic acid. Cyclopentanic acid is completely unrelated to this either seafood toxin or marine toxin. It is something related to mycotoxin. Few mycotoxins we have discussed in the channel. I will give those links also in the description. But cyclopentanic acid we haven't discussed. So some other video will try to discuss. Okay. So let's the right answer as it is. So we'll discuss what is ciguatoxin. See, moray eel or Gymnothorax javanicus and other carnivorous fishes. These are the different ciguatroph fishes may accumulate ciguatoxin as a result of eating other contaminated fishes. So detailed discussion about ciguatoxin is there. I'll give the link in the description. So main point you have to remember here is that there are some fishes called ciguatra fish in which they have ciguatra toxin. So there is a bioaccumulation will takes place. Smaller fish eating the contaminated larger fish, and those fish if we consume human, then it will cause ciguatoxin. Okay, poisoning. So next one is aspergillus. That is option B. That is cyclopyzonic acid. Aspergillus flavus. As I told you, know, these are related to mycotoxin, and several penicillium species they will produce this mycotoxin cyclopyzonic acid. So you can pause the video and see here the toxins, mycotoxins which are released from aspergillus. Here we have cyclopyzonic acid. In addition, also you see aflatoxins are there. So few questions in the exam in the ABT, DABT, you'll get questions with respect to this aflatoxin, this taurine as well as ochratoxin. This also you'll be getting in an exam. With respect to fusarium, they will ask you questions in the DABT, trichothiocin toxin. This also deoxy, cyclo, sorry, deacetoxy, deoxylavinol, zearalenone. So these toxins also few of the previous recertification question papers they have asked. Coming to penicillium toxin, ochratoxin, then this is taurine is there. See, this also they will be asking. So one separate video only on mycotoxins will try to make. Few we have already discussed based on the options that description in the link I will give in the description. I'll give the link. So that was about second option. Coming to third option, we'll see. So that is saxitoxin. So there are different types of fish poisoning are there. So saxitoxin is something which is related to paralytic fish poisoning. Units will be PSP. Okay. For ciguatra also units will be CFU will be there, something like that. Okay. Dinoflagellate poisoning. These are taken from castrate only. So you have to go back and read plant and animal toxin chapter will be there no in lesson that you have to read. So paralytic fish poisoning or PSP, the one which is released, the toxin which is released from this type of paralytic fishes is saxitoxin. So basically what is that a algal bloom will be formed because of which entire sea will appear like a red tide. And here what is the main mechanism is they are going to block sodium channel tolerance, and the limit is as I told you PSP limit is 80 microgram per 100 mg of the fish, whatever the paralytic fish which you're consuming. Okay, we'll discuss what is saxitoxin in next slide. Next, we'll discuss little bit about domoic acid. The consequence of ingesting excitatory amino acids is excessive stimulation may result in death of the neurons. So, what are those things we'll see? One is whenever you are discussing about domic acid, when you are reading, you also read about kynic acid also. So one of these acids is kynic acid that we are discussing about excitatory neurotransmitters is present in the marine red algae, that is Digeria simplex. Okay, this is the kynic acid. Under some, there are certain specific climatic conditions during which excessive what is a multiplication of this red algae will takes place. As a result, entire red sea appears to be red. So under certain specific climatic condition, the algae reproduce rapidly, causing a red tide. Okay, filter feeding mussels eat the algae. So mussels, scallops, small fishes will be there, no? They eat this particular red algae, and if those mollusks, those mussels or those clams, if humans consume, then they will be getting this type of poisoning. Humans may be poisoned by eating these mussels. Those mussels are these mussels, what are scallops, mussels or small clams will be there, no? They'll be feeding on this red tide, and that red tide is containing what? It is containing this one kynic acid releasing from this Digenia simplexer. Okay, so similarly, in addition to red tide, there is another type of is called green algae, which is coming from Chondria arenta in northern oceans. You will come across mostly, and this algae will produce domoic acid. So our option was option 4, that is domoic acid, which is also an analog of glutamate. So whenever you are reading, what are the excitatory neurotransmitter inhibitory, you have to see gamma and glutamate. You have to compare and read. Here we are discussing domoic acid, which is a surrogate, which is a similar like of the glutamate, analog of glutamate. Okay, so what are the effects we'll see. So in case of fish poisoning, no, different types of names are there. Paralytic fish poisoning or amnesic shellfish poisoning is there. Diuretic shellfish poisoning. In next or second or third slide, I will give you the table types of fish poisoning. So it will be very easy for you to remember at the time of exam. So the toxicity of this all three similar. We are discussing kynic, domoic acid are excitatory and act on three types of receptors in the CNS. So particularly they are acting on hippocampus, which is being the more sensitive part of the brain, to which this particular kynic acid, domoic acid are going and affecting this particular part of brain. Domoic acid may produce more potent activator of kynic acid receptors and kynic acid itself. Okay, so now we'll discuss the last option, that is tetrodotoxin. So tetrodotoxin is something which is coming from either pufferfish, either it is coming from blue ring octopus. There are certain sea cone snails are also there which are releasing this tetrodotoxin. Okay, so very quickly, because we have already one video on dedicated to tetrodotoxin, I'll give the link in the description. Here only few revision will see. So it is located nearly in all tissues. That is, I told you, no, either it is blue ring octopus or pufferfish, but the ovaries, liver, intestine, and skin are these are the organs in which higher concentration of this toxin is present. And if we consume any this pufferfish containing this particular organs which are having high concentration of the tetrodotoxin, definitely we are going to have symptoms. So toxicity is highest during the spawning period. So spawning period is something in which males and females mate, and egg laying period will be there, that one. Although a species may be toxic in one location but not in another. Also, this type of poisoning is also depending on which region of the ocean or where you are catching this particular fish, based on that also. So region to region, location to location also, the poison content in the fish is also varying. Tetrodotoxin neurotoxin causes paralysis, central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous system. How it is going to block the movement of this monovalent cations. So this tetrodotoxin, if you see, it is a water soluble. It is stable even if you heat this particular fish. No, this toxin is not going to degrade, or it is not going to lose its toxic property. So it is stable to boiling, except in the case of alkaline solution. So you have to be very careful when you are consuming this type of fish. And the fatal dose they have given is 1 to 4 mg of this tetrodotoxin per person. So pause here, see the structure of domic acid, kynic acid, which part of the brain these particular toxins are going to affect. You can also detailedly see the puffer fish. Okay, then we'll discuss, as we told you, we'll discuss some details about saxitoxin. Next 1 2 slides we'll discuss only about saxitoxin. So saxitoxin, the type of poisoning, it is called paralytic fish poisoning, is caused by saxitoxin, which is produced by dinoflagellate. These are the dinoflagellate genus Gonioloxa. Okay, so these dinoflagellate blooms are called red tide. Here you can see the complete sea. This particular, there are certain periods in the certain what is seasonal periods will be there, during which these algae reproduce at a very rapid rate. As a result, complete sea appears to be red, have been implicated in large marine kills, mass mortality. So these algae, if these particular clams, oyster, mussels, if they consume this particular thing, they will also die. And if this contaminated this oyster, clams, humans will consume, will also have adverse effects. So shellfish such as clams, mussels, scallops concentrate the toxin in their muscle. Okay, eating shellfish contaminated with this toxin can be fatal to humans. What are the symptoms we have? We have numbness in the limbs, tongue, as well as fingertips. Numbness, this later on. Initial symptoms is that later on this numbness extends to legs, arms, as well as your neck. Okay, so eventually, what you will be having, the symptoms you will be seeing, there will be an increase in the heart rate, that is changes in the heart rate, headache, dizziness, increased sweating, gastrointestinal distress will occur. Eventually, at high concentrations, it will cause death. How? By causing respiratory paralysis. Your respiratory muscles will undergo paralysis, and there will be the decrease in the breathing. Okay, death will be there. So saxitoxin blocks action potential. So what particular channels they are going to affect, we'll see in nerves and muscles by reducing the entry of. So they are going to stop that. They are going to decrease the entry of sodium channel into these muscles, into these tissues, because of which contraction of the muscles, respiratory paralysis is taking place. Saxitoxin specifically, it will block increase in ionic permeability that is normally associated with the inflow of sodium. So it is causing decrease in the flow of the sodium into this entry into the cells. But there is no effect of the saxitoxin in either on the potassium or the chloride. So it is specifically, selectively, it is going to attack only on sodium channels, their entry into this particular muscles and nerves. Okay, although saxitoxin and tetrodotoxin. So whenever you are reading saxitoxin, also read tetrodotoxin both together, because the source is different. Okay, they are not similar in structure, they function in similar fashion. That is, they are affecting the sodium channel by selectively blocking sodium channel along the axons. So in the nervous system you have axons. So one nerve is connected to another nerve through axon. So that particular, that is the location where they are going to affect your sodium channels. Okay, pause. You can see how this paralytic fish poisoning is taking place. Okay, now we'll see. Very quickly, as I told you, know, I'll discuss one, I'll give you one table where they have listed out different marine animals and their toxins. So in here, if you see in our questions also, in some of the previous videos you have seen, so saxitoxin, which is coming from mussels and clams, allergic reaction. Read about cones also, which is causing radicular teeth. Here you can see how they have more than 1000 to 12,000 teeth. So this is a neurotoxin. Then we have saxitoxin, which is coming from dinoflagellate. Okay, then we have anemone is there, which is causing muscle cramps as well as sting. So pause here and see how different types of mollusk, shellfish, echinoderms, coelentrates, what are the venoms or the toxins, what they are releasing, and what are the symptoms we have, and what is the mechanism. Okay, so similarly, you can see some of you who are reading this particular textbook, that is a small dose of toxicology, third edition book. In this also they have very clearly given different types of poisoning. As I told you, know, we have paralytic shellfish poisoning, diuretic shellfish poisoning, which is then we have new, which is all things are caused by different types of mollusk, that is shellfish poisoning. Then we have neurotoxic, they are affecting your nervous system. Brevitoxins is the one which is releasing from this one. Then we have amnesic shellfish poisoning, which are releasing this domoic acid. So here you can see the different symptoms are also given. Question, our question is also having saxitoxin. So some other question you might get about brevitoxin also. Okay, nematocyst, which is coming from coelenterate. Okay, snail fish, sea snail, I told you, no, the teeth in the previous slide you have seen. Then we have puffer fish, and tetrodotoxin is released from pufferfish, toadfish, as well as blue ring octopus. Then we have tuna, and these all this tuna, mahi mahi, this all comes from scombroid type of histamine type of poisoning will be there. So pause here. You can very clearly go through the symptoms also. Okay. So next we will see one. This is something from, so I am trying to collect the tables from different textbooks. So this is from Clayson textbook. So in the Clayson they have given table 16.4, page number 249, effect on the nervous system. So we have different chemicals which are associated with neurotransmitter associated toxicity. As I told you, read about excitatory neurotransmitter inhibitor gamma and GABA, so glutamate. So here domoic acid, kainate, nicotine, you can very clearly see how they are affecting. Kainate and domoic you have to read together. Okay, how they are causing acting on kainate receptor excitotoxicity. Okay, and neuronal loss, how they are affecting different parts of the brain. So this particular thing is taken from Clayson textbook. Now we'll enter into last part, that is Scombroid fish poisoning. So in this video we are trying to bring all marine toxins at one place. So one question with respect to marine this Scombroid fish poisoning was asked in ABT recertification question year 2009. The question is, which of the following is the characteristic feature of Scombroid fish poisoning? The right answer will be in the green text. It can be readily treated with antihistamine. So some of the questions they will give you, instead of scombroid fish poisoning, they'll give histamine like poisoning. So scombroid food poisoning, no, also called scombroid foodborne illness caused by eating fish which is having this particular fish, no, mahi mahi, tuna, mackerel, they are having high concentration of histamine. So whenever humans consume this fish which is contaminated, which is having high concentration of histamine, they'll have histamine like symptoms, that is allergic rash, redness like this. Okay, this occurs fish such as tuna, mackerel, mahi mahi, and improperly stored or processed food. So this is the thing, what is exactly the mechanism which is taking place. So it is given in the Clayson textbook. Ingestion of scombroid fish, that is tuna, mackerel, bonito, non-scombroid fish, mahi, and the bluefish have been accepted by acted upon by microorganisms. So on this fish, no, in the fish, these microorganisms they will act and they will produce histamine. So inside the fish, histamine levels will increase, may result in anaphylactic reaction, also called scrombotoxicosis. So this is the thing you have to remember. So few questions with respect to histamine poisoning, this thing you will get. And if you see in this question, no, other options they see, they are discussing about paralytic fish toxin poisoning. Okay, so like that they might ask you some questions. Okay, you can pause the video, go through the other options also. So that was about this particular video on marine toxin. We have discussed about different types of fish poisoning: paralytic fish poisoning, scromboid fish poisoning, amnestic fish poisoning, diuretic fish poisoning. Okay, toxin, saxitoxin, red tide, green tide. So these type of any questions with respect to marine toxins, you will be able to answer in the exam. Thank you so much. Please go through the tables. Try to remember. There is nothing science to be explained over here, only it is a memory based. My understanding is there will be certain questions in the exam where you have to spend more time either in the calculation or either to understand the case study. But these kind of questions, if they come in exam, you will be able to directly answer it. Whether they'll come in this particular year like 2026 or 27, I am not aware. But if you look at the trend, no, huge number of people have staple food as fish. So to the examiners also, who are the preparing the question paper, no, for them also this becomes, food poisoning becomes an important area. So one or two questions on food poisoning they will be asking in the exam. Okay, thank you so much. Be curious. For any questions, you can always write a mail to arya.priyanka18@gmail.com. All the best for a exam.